Well, we're interested in alternative energy. So my house is actually off grid.
Really?
We run off a solar panel.
You got PV and I? Oh, that's fantastic. Chief, grab some pizza. Let me grab for you. No, I'll talk. I'll eat something afterwards. So what do you have? How big a unit do you have? Like a 4 kilowatt unit?
I got 5,000 watts of PV. Then I've got a midnight solar charge controller. And I'm running a 5,000 watt 48 volt true sine converter.
Lovely. And that takes care of your whole load?
Yeah.
Freezer and fridge and chargers and TVs and Xbox and everything.
Everything included, huh?
Microwave.
Do you have any storage, like battery storage?
I've got 16 golf cart batteries. I think they're Duracell. What are they? They're like 215 amp hours a piece, but they're 6-volt cells. So I've got 2 strings of 8.
Interesting. That's really cool. Really cool.
Can we tour your house someday?
Sure.
Yes.
I can take the dogs for a walk and y'all can come over.
No.
They get overwhelmed if there's more than one person.
Oh, okay.
Like if you came alone,
Normally
they'd be
it'll
cool, but
let
if there was like a
anyone
group of
who's
people, they would freak
liking
out.
Nexus, it'll send
Yeah, I
a
don't wanna
notification say
overwhelm
Nexus
dogs.
is live now.
That'll be all right.
Oh my gosh, there's summer in here.
They survival codes get
We probably thought it was going to be a regular winter. Come on in. Sustainability?
Yep.
Pizza is what you're looking for.
Nope.
Nope. Mike
Josh.
Janssen, how are you?
He's like, no, but I'll take pizza.
already ate.
Thank you.
He is, yes. He's meeting and greeting everyone.
How are
As
you
of right
today?
now,
Good.
there's
What's your major?
I work for
11.
Oh, really?
And we still have a few people.
There's a couple
Yeah.
projects that we're working on.
Fantastic. Fantastic. You have to sign
We
to
got about 5
sustainability.
students,
Yep.
some friends, and a few people from the email list that you guys got.
The company I work for, we build
Yeah, it
systems
seems that
like
Facebook
that.
keeps saying
But
something
we
like
came out with
I'm
a
not
new
sure if it's
battery
our
system.
computer
It's a
or if
lithium-ion
it's the
battery.
actual language.
Almost like the, you've seen Tesla's wall
Powerwall.
packs. Yeah, but it's a little bit different. That's more of an industrial product. It's not going to be used for residential so much as industrial and commercial.
See, one of
So,
our
yeah, it's,
coworkers liked
trying to get a
it
system put in
and
here
is
somewhere
commenting on it,
locally
so he can see it.
that I can do a demo project.
And I don't know if it's
What
on
kind
the
of-
computer.
Johnson Controls.
Okay.
Well,
We've
right
got a
now
new-
on the
we just
Facebook
came out with a
Live,
new
it's
product.
saying, it's like having
It's really
one of
being,
the
beta
people already
tested,
likes it and is
where it's
commented on it.
mix of lithium ion
I assume,
and lead
have you
acid
liked
batteries.
Nexus Energy
It's kind of
Facebook?
split the difference of the two technologies, so I'm trying to find a spot to
Try that and
get
like,
that installed. I'm thinking about going out to NASA
and it has like notifications sent to you being like, hey,
Oh, it could be
you're
part of
live.
that.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
I
Prototype.
didn't talk to you about
test.
that.
What do you think about the lithium iron phosphate chemistry?
Other than explodes?
Well, no, lithium iron phosphate is supposed to be more safer than lithium ion.
Yeah. Lithium ion is safe. You just have to be careful as you charge and discharge.
Well, yeah. Well, the good thing about lithium iron phosphate is it has a wider like range that you can charge it in, so the voltage doesn't have to be as precise. Right. That's one of the problems. You have to have good battery management.
You have to have good battery management. And really, its useful life is from about down to about 10% and up to about 90%. That's really the range where it wants to be operational, right? And if you can keep it in that range, the life expectancy. What the heck? Here's you're just the guy I need to talk to. That operational range is huge right there. I was just telling it, Cedric. Johnson just called me and said they've got a new battery system they want to put out. It's a hybrid between lithium and lead acid.
Okay.
So I need to talk to you about that after this.
Okay.
If you go on their videos, you should have the
How you doing?
Good, you?
Great.
What's your major?
My major? Can't remember.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't need a major.
You don't need a major.
Right.
You had your major.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. We met at the, well, I don't think we actually got to meet.
Oh, you mean downtown? Yeah.
Yes.
Good to see you again.
As well.
Okay.
My first question, I'm in school, so I always ask them. Cedric, have some pizza, buddy.
Thank you. I guess you don't eat pizza.
I already ate lunch.
Oh, okay.
So right now I'd be pizza.
Gotcha.
You know, like Handler.
No. It was from her.
Did I sit in the wrong place? Hello.
I don't think so. I don't think there is a wrong
If you want
place.
people on the back row,
Okay.
they can't see.
All over the world.
I'm really proud of it. Okay, so I can ask you.
I expect to see you.
Well, you know about us trying to make this an AEE. I want to talk to you anyway. About that. See, we're trying to make this one of the AEE. And see, we need some help and some support. But see, it's a green test, AEE chapter. And that's
Did he say that was okay?
Yes.
All right.
This thing of mine.
See, this is
I like chance.
So,
First sign's good.
so you know, it's a lot going on. One of the things we want to do, we want to give at least a couple of very test drives. We want to give at least one scholarship to you just need to.
You're right.
We need to break bread and sit around and
We need
preach,
that's a
talk. Yeah.
fantastic idea.
Yeah.
If you guys are coming out to this Green Club speakers meeting, we've had it set up, sponsored by Green Club, and we're trying to get weekly speakers here, talk about things like sustainability, aquaponics, anything that might relate to our projects, the tiny home that we're making. I'm Abby, by the way, part of the Green Club, and I'll introduce Mike Janssen. He'll be our speaker today.
Thanks, Abby. Well, thanks first. I love being in these venues. I want to give you a little bit of background about me so that you kind of understand my journey to get to where I am today to talk about sustainability. It's been a really crazy ride, and I'm still in school. I'm currently in a graduate program in sustainability, environmental management, and I kind of grown into the love of this, what I would call a sport, right? This business that we're in as far as sustainability. There's a lot going on, tons going on, stuff that you can't imagine, the job opportunities, everything about it is really exciting. I live here in Huntsville, Alabama. I have 6 children, so pray for me. I'm in my final thesis for my master's degree, and if you think of a good subject I could do it on, I would really appreciate that because I'm struggling like every other student. So I've got it takes me about a year to do that, to the program I'm in, to do my final thesis, so hopefully I'll get there. But for today,
You didn't tell them where you're getting it from,
a little school up in Cambridge.
huh?
A little school up in
Yeah,
Cambridge.
but you didn't call the name of it.
It's through the Harvard program, so it's an exciting program. If you, it's one of the things I didn't really want to do, but once I got into it, I really have enjoyed it. It's a phenomenal program. The resources, the libraries, the professors, everything about it is just really, really exciting to be in that program. And they're hard at it. They're really doing good things sustainability-wise, so it's a lot of fun. I brought some reading material. Afterwards, if you're really interested about sustainability, I'd like to kind of show you a couple books because that's what we do. We've got to be knowledgeable about this field of sustainability, and I just share some of that with you as well. We've got a variety of people here with us today. We've got somebody that already has a PV system on their going off grid. That's very good. That's really a great story. We've got people from the Research Development Department of the Army. That's good to have here. We've got students of different types, civil engineering, environmental,
Earth science.
computer science. Okay, so they're a little mix, right? Okay, let's go. Somebody watch the time, because I'll talk 2 days. Give me a definition. If we're going to talk about sustainability, let's get a definition of what sustainability is. Let's agree, if nothing else. And what I want you to do is if whatever you've read, whatever you think about sustainability, I want you to kind of walk away from that for now. Because like today, it's going to be 70 degrees today, right? What do you think the first thing I got in the office said, hey Mike, what's the temperature going to be today? 70. Why do you think that's happening? Global warming. Everybody goes, and walks away, right? I'm not here to sway you on anything about global warming, change your opinions about what's happening and all that. Today, I just want us to agree on what sustainability is. Okay? So, what's the definition?
So, from what I read, it's 100% sustainability is when you have no impact on the surrounding environment or no negative impact.
No negative impact to your surrounding area. Are we good? Is that pretty? Does that make sense? Because the classic definition is whatever your needs are today, or these generations. Here's a generation, different generations. Whatever the needs are today, you're not going to do something that would keep future generations to fulfill what? Their needs, right? So if you think about that as far as sustainability, that kind of sets up a lot of different things that go on, right? So you can, once you can agree that what I do today to fulfill my needs, what I need to do as far as my energy, my transportation, my technology, all the things that I need today, which is changing radically, I'm not going to screw it up for the next group, right? That next generation, the next generations, as we go forward. But that's way too simple, right? So what I want to do is I want to take you a little bit further when you think about sustainability, all right? And there's the 3 Ps. I think you even put it on our brochure, right? Mike's going to talk about the 3 Ps, okay? And those 3 Ps are what? People, planet, and yes, people, planet, profit. Thank you. 3 Ps. People, planet, and profit. Because, good afternoon, how are you? Are you students here?
No, Jenny talked over Angela had up. Dressed up, and it says,
I'm his intern student here.
We're talking about defining what sustainability is. And what we came up with is saying, hey, look, whatever our needs are today to do what we need to do, we have to be able to pass that on to the next generations so that they can fulfill their same needs at that time. All right? So it's all about people, planet, and profit. So we're going to break those 3 things down to a different discussion. We're going to talk about social well-being. And we'll put profit down here. And then we'll say environmental stewardship. Right? Same thing, right? We're talking about social well-being, people. We're talking about the environment, how we take care of the environment. And then the profit side of it is really the business side of it, right? No matter what you do, if you're all going to go out and work in an industry, if that business isn't profitable, what happens?
Fails.
Fails, right? And what's that do for us as American citizens and all that? What's it do for if we say we got the best sustainability project program in the whole world? It's the best. No one can operate within it. So how sustainable will that be? Not be sustainable. So where do you see, where does this come together? Is this what I call that sweet spot, right? That spot where those three things work together, balanced, right? You're balancing social well-being, environmental stewardship, and profit into some kind of working relationship that fulfills that earlier definition that we had. Meet our needs, meet people's needs in the future. So how can that get imbalanced? Hundreds of ways, right? Just everything about it. And if you've ever tried to balance, if you're balancing two things on the end of a stick or a string, it's not that, you can usually get it. But boy, you try to balance two things in three different areas, it's challenging, right? It's very darn challenging. So that's what I'm going to try to do today. Let's start thinking, don't worry, I'm not going to say don't worry, but don't get yourself wrapped into one portion of this discussion. Engage what sustainability is. We've got to start thinking about more than just a tiny house. If you look at your tiny house, you can pick one piece out of that, the cooling system, and say, we have to do everything we can to make that happen. Well, what do you need to have in that tiny house? You need a system, right? That system works together, and that's where we are today, right? Us being able to say, turning off the lights in this room is going to be helpful, but there's just a bigger picture out there when you start talking sustainability. So if there's one thing I want you to do when you leave this room, is to say, my eyes are really open to a bigger area when I think in terms of sustainability. It's not just global warming. It's just not energy saving. There's a lot more to it, okay? Are we all pretty much on the same keel here? Any questions so far? You can interrupt me all you want. That's my favorite. Any questions? So let's, if this here is what? This is that's really our goal, right? If we're by the way, those three things are going to occur in the world whether we like it or not, right? No matter what you do, if you have a small business or if you have a mega business like a Coca-Cola or BMW or anyone like that, these things all work, and it gets infinitely more complex as you get bigger, right? And I'll pick on BMW because you know what? BMW does a pretty darn good job. IKEA, everybody knows IKEA. I've got $2 in college. I'm part owner of IKEA, right? Those companies are getting it. If you look at NASA, those people like that are getting it because they're seeing that it's more than just a hugging a tree, right? It's a bigger picture. And really, if you look at those bigger companies, their customers are driving them to do this, right? If you look at IKEA, IKEA builds furniture. They do it worldwide. If you don't think they're concerned about their timber source and their raw materials, you're crazy, right? The last thing they had a huge thing went into one of their products where they had a formaldehyde type substance where they made their particle board. It was a problem, right? The public changed that, right? They came and said, look, we're looking for sustainable products. We're looking to be more environmentally friendly. So you can see that how quickly a social issue or an environmental issue could drive what? Profit. Now, like I said, not everybody can ramp everything up today, right? Your campus right here that you're on, how good is your campus at sustainability? They're probably on a path, right? You guys are working a green program, you see recycling, you see all these things happening if this is the goal, this intersection, as you shove those circles together, continuously shoving them closer, 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 what happens? That center gets bigger. That goal increases, but it's not done overnight, right? So what has been historically true, and I'm glad we have one in our room with us today, this is usually driven by what we refer to as not a secret agent, but a change agent. So, let's think a little bit about change agent. Cedric Davis, who retired from NASA, he was their energy manager. And when he came onto the scene, and I'm putting words in your mouth, Cedric, but when he came onto the scene at NASA, you think, boy, now there's a group that's pretty provocative, leading edge, out there on technology, doing all these things. Yet, when it came to just the day-to-day energy goals and savings and how they approached the work, Cedric, would you say they were at maybe ground zero instead of in space?
Well, when I first started this program about almost 30 years ago, we were dumping 90 tons of white copy paper into the trash every month.
90 tons?
Yeah. Now, you got to understand, computers weren't here, but we started a recycling program, and our recycling program reached about 90 tons of just white copy paper per month. I'm going to say early, like 1990.
Yeah. So think about those early times when they started was nothing, right? They went from saying, just get it done. Industry was like that. I know there's businesses that said, I've got a process that I'm working with. I got done with the chemicals, just dump them in the drain, dump them in the land, all that. So this business of trying to figure out sustainable society gets us to start thinking about what do we do to make these goals happen. It's collaboration, and it takes really some strong change agents that say, we need to see things be done different. You see it in a lot of places. BMW, I like their message because you may have heard about Volkswagen having an issue with their diesel engine, right? The problem was they were falsifying what the real performance was for that engine. So it caused that by putting that wrong information out, it affected their profit immediately. It hurt them in their social well-being as far as their standing in the communities, and it certainly affected the environmental as you went and calculated what the real impact was for the diesel engine. Think about the impact of that. BMW instantly stepped back from that, and instead of saying, hide the papers, let's make sure no one finds out, they instantly went through and looked at their whole process and say, are we really doing the right thing? Are we presenting the right information? Are we doing what we say we're really doing? So that's part of this that makes you do one thing, right? Transparent. It was easy for us to look and say, sweep it underneath the rug, put it behind a closed door, do whatever it takes, but let's not let everyone see what's really going on. If you're truly doing the right thing, if you're doing the right thing in your tiny home, who's involved in tiny home? You are? You, tiny home, tiny home?
I help.
Tiny home? It's tiny, isn't it? If you're doing the right thing, the first thing you want to do in that tiny home as a system, you want to make everything you're doing transparent, so that you can really understand and see what's going on in your project. If you have bad results, guess what? You've got to be just as open with bad results as good results, right? The transparency drives this expansion.
Can I say something?
Oh, yes, sir.
Bad result is normally your greatest learning factor in any project if you do the right thing with it.
That's a good point. I guess there's an old joke where the first fish says to the second fish, boy, the water's a little warmer today. The second fish says, what's water? So they fail to understand the environment that they're actually in, to know how much change is occurring, to know that there's a problem. So that's huge. Transparency is a very big deal. Long term. If you come up with something at your home, if you have a PV system at your house, and you're saying, okay, it's going to have a life cycle of 10 years, at the end of 10 years, you're going to take those lithium or lead acid or whatever you're going to do, what are you going to do with them, right? So you have to think in terms of long term. If we really are going to say what we said before, we're not going to do anything today that's going to screw it up for the next generation, then you've got to be thinking long term. If you're not thinking long term, you're no different than anyone else that's just trying to use and abuse and waste, right? So it's got to be long term. Healthy. Healthy in a sense that it's good for the companies and stakeholders. I didn't say stockholders, I said stakeholders. Huge difference, right? In the pizza business today, we are what? We are a stakeholder in the pizza business today. Today, right now. Why? Why are we a stakeholder?
We made a purchase in their company.
Yeah, we're analyzing their product today, aren't we? Do you think, what is it, what pizza group is it? You think Domino's isn't interested in what we think?
He's interested enough to not want you to buy from Godfather.
That's a fact. That's a fact. We are stakeholders in their business. Now, there's stockholders that are stakeholders as well, right? There's somebody that sells pepperoni that's a huge stakeholder in Domino Pizza. There's a ton of stakeholders in each one of these projects. In a company, we are stakeholders, right? If you buy toothpaste, if you buy deodorant, if you buy a car, whatever you do, you are stakeholders, and you've got to be aware of what the stakeholders are thinking. You've got to be very aware if you're selling something, what stakeholders are buying. And you certainly want to know if the stakeholders aren't happy. So in sustainability, as you go through this process, you've got to start thinking about who are the stakeholders. In social well-being, who's a stakeholder?
Every individual.
Every individual that's using the system, right? They're a stakeholder. What other, give me other ones. There's tons of them. Social well-being meaning, let's just put a name to it, community. Who's the stakeholders in the community? How did you get here? Car. What did you drive that car on? Roads. Tell me what business that aren't dependent upon a road. Anyone? Sure, there's somebody out there. So you can see that if you really start peeling back and looking at, if you're gonna start a startup company to build tiny homes in Huntsville, Alabama, your stakeholders are going to be the Huntsville utilities. It's going to be the PV supplier. It's going to be the consumer. It's going to be all these different groups that touch you in a sustainable world as stakeholders, right? In 2020. We're going to put enough PV on our roofs. We're not going to worry about utility power on the year 2020. So if you're supplying power and you hear a company like that say we're going to clip the wires, guess what? You're concerned. You're all of a sudden saying, look, I need to start thinking about the stakeholder. What are they doing? What are they thinking? We all do that. We're all stakeholders, and everything we do, there's stakeholders that work with us. Okay? So remember that. No matter what project you do, be concerned about stakeholders. I hate to erase, but I'm going to have to erase. Maybe I can just keep it. Okay, so now you're all aware of the three major things that happen within a group, right? You know that there's a social impact to it. Social means there's always a community that goes with it, right? If you have a bunch of workers or students, if you have a bunch of students at the campus, and you have no place for the students to go hang out, no place for community, no place to, a student union, a green club, that's all the things that go into a social well-being for that system, right? You probably make a decision when you're out looking for colleges, you go there and say, that place is dumb. No place for us to gather, the student union is terrible, blah, 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 blah. Same thing with every business. If you go and put a, what's the new plant here in town for 4 years? Polaris. Polaris comes and puts a plant in Huntsville, Alabama. Are they worried about the social well-being of that community? Oh, heck, yes, they are. They're very interested in seeing what is that community going to offer me? What is it when I bring employees to Huntsville, Alabama, do they want to live there, right? How are they going to be treated? What's the mix? What's everything about it for their business? Same way with this. When Polaris comes and puts a plant in Huntsville, Alabama, they're going to affect our environment, right? They're going to be using raw materials. They're going to be doing things to manufacture. All of that is part of the environment that we live in. So how they handle their citizenship, right? How they work within the community makes us determine if they're a sustainable company or not. Trust me, this is built in. This is what every company has to have that for, right? All right. All right. Let me think of a clothing company. If you wear blue jeans, how many people have there? A bunch of people have blue jeans. Okay, Levi Strauss, right? Levi Strauss has a product that's pretty well known, right? If you say I've got a pair of Levi's on, it's a pretty good chance most people know in the world what the heck you're talking about, right? So that's strong brand recognition, right? That's something that they've really worked hard on. Now, if you take Levi Strauss, what do you think some of the things they're worried about? Cotton. You said cotton. Cotton's a huge thing for them. What else you think?
They got to be worried about synthetic too. Will it come in and will it affect what cotton is doing?
Yeah. So if you look at that's two of the major things. One more, but if you look at their cotton and how it's grown and the chemicals that's used to grow it, the process to process cotton to make to where you can get a pair of jeans out of them, it's a huge input. The next biggest thing they worry about is water. Water. You go, wait a minute. It's not much water in a pair of blue jeans. Tremendous amount of water in blue jeans. I don't have the figure with me, but they're spending gajillion gallons. That's a technical term. It's a little bit more gajigajig. They're just, water is huge for them. Not as big as Coca-Cola. Water is very big at Coca-Cola. But think about them as saying, if I'm going to be environmentally, a good environmental steward, if I'm going to do social well-being, I got to be thinking about cotton and where it comes from and how it's grown. I got to be thinking about water, because that's what makes my product, just the way they dye stuff, the water they use just to dye a pair of blue jeans is horrendous. And then synthetic. I taught a class in a high school level where I offered a certificate for a pair of synthetic blue jeans that Levi now has a synthetic blend. that they are using plastics to recycle plastic to make their pants. I can't tell the difference. The kids go, they look they got a little shine to them. I go, is that good? Is it bad? I don't know. How would they know that? But anyway, that's a company that's looking at be very concerned about this part of it. They're dumping dye like crazy, right? The water part of it, where they're going to get the water, but boy, this is really big for them. Where do you think most of their blue jeans are assembled? China, some, not as much in China as you think you're going to tell us right now.
Mexico.
Some in Mexico, in the neat way.
1,800 gallons
1,800 gallons
to make
of
one
water.
pair of denim jeans.
1,800 gallons.
Huh?
Like one pair?
Yes.
One pair.
400 gallons to make a shirt.
So just think about, when you think of 1,800 gallons, that's a lot of water.
And 39,000 to make a car. That just popped up here.
Now, so that's a great reference. So now think about the number of blue jeans that are out on the
But just look at the number in the room. Just go around the room and count. A lot of water in here.
A lot of water in here, right? When someone asks you, and I do a different class on this, when someone asks you how much water you use each day, it's a lot. I can't, the number of water to produce a hamburger, huge. Huge, just huge amount of water. Because you gotta go all the way back and say, I have to grow a grain, I have to, I'm gonna give water to the cow, I'm gonna go process, all those things that's real food, right? All right, so social well-being. If you go to the belt, the Pacific Rim, there's an area that's really heavy textile, Kuala Lumpur, parts of Malaysia and all that, hugely impacted by textiles and different clothing, right? Look, Levi Strauss does not own every plant that makes stuff for them. They go to outside vendors. They go out to supply chains and buy that product. Now, what do you think it would do to this number? Like it did to Nike, when they find out that their product was being made through slave labor, child slave labor, right? Or the average income for the person making a pair of blue jeans is like $1 a day. So what sustainability is that's where you start getting back to where you say it's more than just energy. You got to go out further into sustainability and think how it affects the social well-being of the planet, of the people, your supply chain. My own company I work for, they have probably 500,000 suppliers worldwide. You've got to be able to, as a responsible company, be able to start looking at this. You as consumers should be looking at that. When you make a decision to buy something, you should be thinking not in terms of who's hugging a tree, but what is the 1,800 gallons of water mean to you? What does it mean if somebody's building this product through slave labor? What does it mean if the woman that's in the plant working has to work 3 or 4 jobs to be able to survive in an economy that doesn't even have a wage scale, right? We've done a very good job in the United States correcting it. Corrected it. It was good. Can't say that we're crystal clear on this, right? We've had issues with that in social well-being in our own country over time. So we've corrected that, right? We're still fighting for minimum wage and things like that, but you're not going to find, most probably, you're not going to find a teenager working in a coal mine here in the United States. A lot of places in Europe and Asia, you will find that, right? You won't find safety, you won't find all those things. So we've corrected it. All right. 5 minutes? Holy goodness. All right. So again, getting this idea of getting bigger, open your open the aperture of your camera a little bit. Start looking at the bigger process that's tied to sustainability. If you're a student and you're thinking about going into the field of sustainability, think of the places you could be. There are hundreds of things from environmental stewardship, tons of things that they're looking for people to work in. Social well-being, you don't have to be an engineer figuring out the PV loads on houses. There are so many things tied to sustainability that gets you into this arena. It's growing like crazy. Profit, there are so many companies today, I don't have their number, that are graded by their sustainability stance. They track it, Wall Street tracks it, so when you want them to invest, you're gonna put your dollars into a company, you can go there and say, I'm looking for a company that has these simple principles for sustainability, and people are buying stock in those companies. They don't want to invest in dirty technology. They don't want to invest in things that are hurting our environment, and we certainly don't want to invest in companies that are doing social justice. Question? Question?
So you said that the US has done a very good job in definitely making sure. But I was reading an article last year and it was about chemicals in China. For example, we use Teflon, so there's a chemical, I don't know, it had a long name. So
Tetrafluorophenoxymethyl.
probably yes. So that got banned in the USA. But as soon as it got banned, the production rate increased in China because we were still using it, but we just shifted the production somewhere else.
Thank you. That was a perfect lead-in. Because here's my response to that. The fact that we are no longer a manufacturing community doesn't mean we're off the hook, right? The fact that we shifted to another side of the world to put it into even worse conditions with less regulation and less rules to make it cheaper so that this goes up, that's wrong. So yes, we are taking our natural resources from the U.S., we're shipping them to other parts of the world, and they are manufacturing products and shipping them back to us. All we've done is shifted that problem to a place that probably is even worse than if it would have been done in our. So you're very, very right. You've got to watch that. You've got to really be concerned about that. And again, that change agent, that person that looks at that and be able to look at how that changes what needs to be done, that's your roles. That's really the role of your future is saying, how do we change that? But you can't shift it. One more thing on that, I'm going to give it up. Someone would say we're not the problem with greenhouse gases. We've got it under control. It's not us that's making the problem. It's China and it's India. They're the ones that are polluting, right?
But
Polluting.
it's not though.
Make a product.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Be very careful. I'm telling you, you'll hear that. They'll say, look, there's no reason for us to put a policy in place to look at pollution. EPA, we don't need EPA, we got everything in place. We got all these things, but you've got to open up the
But that
lens.
only regulates what's done within our borders, you know? There's
I
ways
think there's a
around most of the
responsibility.
stuff.
We as consumers, I think we have that desire to see the responsibility go on. But you've got the ultimate decision. Every one of us do. We make the decision on what we buy. They don't come and say, you've got to buy this. We make that. So when we look at the price of one item versus the other, and you say, okay, well, I'm going to pay another $1 for that, but what does that affect me? How does it affect the world? If you're really into that, right? You can go a long way in sustainability and before you make those decisions, but you got to start thinking of bigger picture. Good question. I should have baited you for that one. I'll give you $5 there. Anything else? Any other questions? That's about as quick a shot I can give you on sustainability, right? Questions?
Do you think we'd be able to go around and like say our name and affiliation with this?
Please, let's start right over here.
James Homer, I picked up the analytic
Energy Lab and Amedeck? Okay.
Josh Crosby,
Scott Hoagland, worked at MRTech Energy Labs, there's her, and I'm an EE student out here. Minor Salvador, I work on Whetstone and do a phone check.
Okay, good.
My name's Soraya. I just am interested in this stuff.
Perfect.
Tyler Truitt, I work with that guy, with Chicks Electronics, I'm a part-time student here.
Good.
Who lives off the grid?
Move off the grid.
Cedric Davis, I work for Avion Energy Solutions, and I'm also retired from NASA.
Oh, I'm Emily Johnson. I'm with Nexus Energy Center.
I'm Annalise. I'm a computer science student.
I'm Emily Ritter. I'm trying to get more involved with people technology.
Yes.
I'm Uncle Shaw. I'm a physics and logistics science major.
Good.
I'm Olivia Buchanan. I'm a system science major and Spanish minor. I'm involved with the Green Club here on campus.
I'm Abby Hendry. I'm a civil and environmental engineering student in part of Green Club.
I'm Jeff Ogden. I'm with House Controls.
Hey, look, don't, your tiny home is a great thing. I mean, it's starting everyone to think about what we really need. I'm guilty myself. I have a home that's way too big for my wife and I beg her and beg her to say, let's get this downside, because, yeah, it's way off kilter. I mean, we really have too much space and for no reason. Excellent. Any other question for us?
I have a note of interest for everybody. I saw the first McDonald's have to close in Madison County.
Really?
I had never seen that before because, you know, they do 10 years of in-depth study and all this kind of stuff so it doesn't fail. But in Hazel Green, the McDonald's closed because they probably didn't see Walmart coming, so Walmart moved a mile further, and Walmart came and they put in Zaxby's, and they put in Burger King, and they put in Papa Murphy's and all that kind of stuff, and it squashed I had never seen that. And you know, they had a record for, you know, like they and Cracker Barrel have a record for never doing that. So even when you do your best, you can be impacted by this. And it happened right up the road right here to a McDonald's who probably do more research than anybody, and they still found a situation where they actually failed. That happened in Madison County.
That's crazy. It's hard to imagine that. I did research on a company that's carpeting, you know. Hey, look, it's hard to make an environmentally friendly carpet, right? If you look at the chemicals and everything that goes in, but they took a very strong stance on it, and they really did a good job. But the owner of the company said, "What are you making a big deal? This is survival, right? I'm not a tree hugger. I'm a capitalist. I had to do this to survive because my customer said, I want this product." So sustainability, which was once a kind of an offshoot or a baby or a nice thing to do, it's a must-do now. It's something that you're not going to be able to just sit back and say, business as usual. McDonald's, same way. You've got to always be thinking about what's going to happen because we still have purchasing power. We do. Trust me, you do. They wouldn't advertise, they wouldn't be putting toothpaste on TV. Your file saying.
The reason I mentioned is 20 years ago I worked for Milliken, and my first project was water sustainability at Lake, and they were giving cash awards for reducing water usage in their property. That was 20 years ago, 19 years ago.
Yeah.
But you know, the 30% of carpet that the government purchases now, which is, you know, it's in the spec, you know, it has to be there. So 30% of every drop of carpet that's made, there's already a specification for it. So if you don't make it, you just lost $18 billion worth of business if you don't make it.
If you don't make it. Yeah. So driving this industry, there's a lot of regulations. ISO is driving this business a lot. There's a lot of different frameworks that say, and really I call them a club, that companies are getting together and wanting to be part of these different associations so that they can be recognized for their environmental impact in their products. So it's growing. I guess for me, it's no longer an option, right? It shouldn't be an option for us the way we live. Look at your own life. Look at what you do. Watch how you live. I'm not saying you have to, start living in the woods, but just be aware of what's going on and see what's out there and available to you. Because change is going to occur at our level. I mean, that's really where it's at, especially the younger people.
Everybody's talking tiny house, but when you get 6 kids, you can't have a tiny house. But there are plenty of homes upscale, 4,000 square feet, that's being built today. You can use this knowledge that we have, and you can have a utility bill less than $100 a month.
You can.
So, the knowledge you have is just not for a tiny house. If you use it, so you got to have a 3,000 square foot house. It can still be built to run off a third of the energy. And I mean, you can live just as comfortable. Sometimes you can live almost nothing as anybody else. You see, you just got to think about what you do. The technology works no matter where we go.
We had a question on our live feed. Is there a sustainability award and program to recognize people, nonprofits, and companies?
Definitely. Yeah, there's quite a few agencies that will give out an annual sustainability awards in different classifications. The government does it. The federal government will give out awards as far as energy savings and different measures like water measures and electricity and renewable energy. There's a lot of societies out there, NGOs, non-government organizations, and governments. So if you go to people like EPA and go to their site, you can see what they do as far as opportunities. There are also programs that you can do within your college. There's several programs that they have where you can compete to show the reduction of your footprint as well. So there's a lot of different organizations. Just Google it. You'll see a lot of them.
UAH won some big clean air award about 16, 18 months ago. You have something here. I've seen the overview called a heat machine. And what happened is you were going to have to spend all this money to increase the chilled water facility. But UAH didn't have the money, so it really put the pressure on. We had to start thinking. Everybody started thinking, and they only had 500,000, and they came back and they lowered their chilled water, they lowered their air pollution, and you need to check around. You got some like mega award here, like the last year and a half ago, for really doing something that the pressure got put on you for, and you really did something good. And if you want to call Mark Cowherd. He's like the head of the physical plant. Yeah. And so call him, and he gets carried away if you have him. You ought to have him over here to talk, because get him to come over here and talk. He gets wild. You have to tell him to shut up. He's good at it.
That's all right. That's okay. We like wild people.
But you need to know that you did something real here, right here.
Yeah, you're within a very defined system here.
And you can even tell him that I dropped his name. I don't care.
Good guy.
Yeah.
If he has a Facebook, he might know. If he has a Facebook, he'll know.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate taking some time for you to just to listen to us spiel. I'm really convinced that this is not a passing fad. I hope it isn't. I love the outdoors. I love the fish. I love to do all those things. I've seen an improvement, but boy, it's got to improve worldwide if we're really going to see what we want to accomplish, and to do what we said earlier, so that the next generation fits their needs just like we are, without us harming their life. Okay, thank you very much. You're good. A couple books if you're crazy enough to read about this stuff. This is one that is very good. It's called Mainstreaming Corporate Sustainability. Real easy read. It gives you a big picture of what it is to live within the corporate world. I say corporate, I would say anywhere where they're small business, large business, whatever. Or if you have some kind of aspiration to be involved in sustainability as part of the team, boy, this is good. This one, I've read a whole bunch of it. This book is, I'm sure it's in your library. This gives you even the forms to do, how do you set up a program for your home, for your work, whatever. And it really gives you a lot of baseline material to say, what the heck, how do I get to that bigger circle, right? It's a good one. This is more on the global warming / planet, about being able to. They're all little short stories, about 2 or 3 pages, and it gives a big rounded approach to the social side, right? Why do we do what we do? What's it do to people? And that's really what it's all about. So it's a very good read if you get a chance. It's moral ground. It's just got a little bit of everything in it. That's it. Any other questions? Now you know the definition of sustainable.
And by the way, his definition was good too.
It was good.
Yeah, it was good.
It was good.
No impact.
Yeah, no impact.
Negative impact.
For a long time. Did you get your notes done?